Hi, I'm Rick. You can see me on Facebook, Cooking with Rick. Actually, you can, I don't know if you see me, but you can see all the different food I've done. I did photos on it. So I'm starting to do some videos. And today what I'm going to do is spaghetti and meatballs, or maybe linguine and meatballs, or maybe rigatoni and meatballs, depending on what I feel like. But it's going to be with meatballs, and it's going to be with a gravy. For you people out of the Northeast area, we call it gravy. The rest of the world calls it sauce. I don't know why, but that's what happens. Anyway, so I'm going to make spaghetti. Did I say spaghetti? Oh, whatever. And meatballs with in a gravy. So what I started doing is I got some chopped meat, and I got this chopped meat here, and I took an onion and I started to grate it. So I grate the onion in here. All right, so we got some onion flavor. All right, we want to put in there some salt. So I have this put a little salt in here. All right, we got salt. Right. So we also want to put in some a little bit of garlic powder. Sometimes I'll take garlic and I'll crush it and put it in here, but it gets a little bit overbearing, a little powerful, so we don't do that. Okay, we have that, and we have some crushed pepper. You know the crushed like this. So you have a little small one like that, and you can grate up your pepper. All right. All right. So we got some of that. Also, going to put in a little bit of cheese. I like pecorino romano. Just sprinkle some in there. All right. So we got some cheese into it. Some oregano that I grew in my garden. All right. I don't want to, this is pretty powerful, so I don't want to put a lot in there. So what I'll do is just get a little bit, and I'll put the rest back in here, and I'll just chop it up, right? This in here, all right? Sprinkle in here. Then I'll take the rest, and I'll throw it in this other pot where I have put some of my gravy meat. So I have a piece of beef. All right. You could buy it sometimes in a package. They'll sell a piece of beef, a piece of pork, which is that, all right, and 2 sausage. And they call it gravy meat package. A lot of the Italian stores show it. I don't know too much about the regular supermarkets. Maybe they do. All right. So we got some of that in here, all right? All right. I threw a little bit of oregano in there to help it out a bit. All right. So some more. All right. Now, we got this onion that I grated up, right? So what I'll do is I'll put it in this pan where I'm going to fry my meatballs. My cast iron frying pan, it's always fun. When I grew up, every Sunday we had spaghetti and meatballs. I don't know why, but I think it was Sunday, and then on Tuesday we'd have another kind of a gravy and meatballs, and it was a kind of routine. My mom had set this up. I come from a large family, and I was the youngest. So growing up in the family, the older ones took care of the other ones, but somehow, for some reason, since I was like, well, they call me a change of life baby, or whatever. Your mom, you're lucky, she's lucky she's alive, you're lucky alive. You know those stories we kids would do to each other. So I grew up with her. She took everywhere we went. We went to the movies a couple times a week. We saw the Italian movies. We saw the English movies. We'll always go to the movies. My mom liked the films. Not like my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law used to go there because she was born in this country and raised in Italy, and she went to the movies to learn to speak proper English. The line is, "Thank God she didn't go to a lot of John Wayne movies," and she'll say, "Come style, Pilgrim." Anyway, but she also went to the Italian films to learn to speak proper Italian. My mom went to the movies because that's what she did, Instead of me driving her crazy as a kid, she took me to the movies, and you had to be quiet, and you couldn't say nothing, you had to sit there. I liked it because I got some candy and I got some stuff like that. That was like really cool. So I never made it. I would help her sometimes when she was cooking, and then she would tell me to do this. I was in the Army. I did a couple of years in the United States Army. It It was all right. I mean, the beginning was rough because I mean they worked you out, you know, this running and this exercising and all that. I was kind of lucky in a sense. I wound up going to Germany instead of going to the Far East, which turned out to be pretty good. But you know, I'm in there in the service, and they're serving us some dinner. It was, I don't know, tomato soup or something. I don't know what it was, but it was horrible. And I said, you know, I was sitting with a bunch of my friends. You know, you hang out with buddies there. And I said, my mom could take a can of Campbell's tomato. It was tomato soup, right? Campbell's tomato, and she'd make it twice as well as this. I happened to be overheard by the first sergeant. They called him Top. Top because he wanted to be called Top, so whatever he said, he was the first sergeant, right? He was the #1, you know, enlisted man. I mean, he wasn't a non-commissioned officer. But he was tough. He ran the show. If you ever see the movie From Here to Eternity, and Burt Lancaster, who was the top sergeant, he ran everything. You know, these guys have been in the service a lot of years, so they know all of the angles. So he says, "Hey, Rick, you think you can do better?" And I said, "Uh-oh." Now I'm sitting with a bunch of guys, and these guys are laughing. They're hysterical because they know he's got me. So I said, "Nah, yeah, I think so." And you ain't going to call my bluff now. So I said, "Yeah, I can do it." He says, "You know, we got a bunch of guys coming in late tonight, and your job will be to run the kitchen." I said, "Yeah." I said, "What am I going to make?" He says, I said, "You know, how about let me make spaghetti and meatballs?" First thing that came to my mind. He said, "Sure, you got it." Yeah. I said, "Can I take guys that I know?" And what? Yeah, take them. You know. So not only I'm on the carpet, all these other guys got to do the same thing. So we got out of the mess hall, and we got to cook, and I'm saying, "Anybody know how to do spaghetti and meatballs?" "Are you kidding me?" I said, "Oh, wait a minute." So there I'm calling my mom 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and asking her, "Hey, Mom, how do you make spaghetti and meatballs?" And she don't understand. She says, "Well, you're in the Army. What are you cooking for?" Long story. So I'm asking her, and she's telling me, and she's giving me these recipes on the phone, and she's giving it to me in, I mean, she spoke pretty good Italian, but and English, he was okay, but it was, you know, she'd forget a word in English, and she'd say it in Italian, or vice versa. And she's telling me, and I'm telling these other guys to write it down. Now I'm thinking, we got about 150 guys coming in tonight, and she's giving me a recipe for about 10. I'm saying, uh-oh. So now I get this recipe, and we sit down, we're planning. I said, "You ought to see the cans of tomatoes and the amount of chopped meat and all." Oh, God, it was like, oh man, you know, here I go. I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to mix it. What I try to do it in one hand thing. So I'm mixing this up, okay? But imagine doing it's like this, a big bowl, and we had cans of chopped meat, and we're doing, you know. But I don't understand it. The chopped meat came in cans. I don't know what it was. And, you know, we're doing this, and guys said, "We need sausages." And guys taking sausages, and one guy comes up with the idea, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we just take the skin off and throw the sausage in there?" Sure. And, you know, now I know they do it all the time, you know, but back then, who knows if they did. Anyway, so I'm mixing it up, and we got it together, and we got these big pots, and we were doing spaghetti, and I'm trying to tell them al dente, and these guys don't know what am I talking about. But I tell you, it came out great. And you know, he said, "You got it, fella." He said, the first sergeant says, "You know, anytime we're short, you come help." And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm gonna be a cook now. Well, anyway, when I came home from the service, I mean, that was the big story. You know, he's cooking. You know, and everybody thought I was a full-time cook in the service. I mean, I cooked when they needed me. That's all. Anyhow, but back to this. So, you can see. When I grated, some of the onions get in there, just throw it into that, okay? All right, so we want to help it out a bit. So put an egg in there, you know the story, the guys with the eggs, one hand, yeah, forget it. I do it, it's all over me. Anyway, so crack it. Oh, there's nothing in there, no shells, all right? Okay, so we got it going in this here, mix it away. All right, and you notice now it's like really, watery. Yeah, it's like, you know, the eggs are a little bit too much, so we want to put some breadcrumbs in here. So it's a local store in my neighborhood called Turco's. I mean, he's got it together. Good supermarket. He's got everything. Got all the Italian stuff. He's got all, he's got all the Jewish stuff. I mean, he's got it all. German. He's got it all. Yeah, smart businessman. But to me, nothing beats Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. I mean, I love the Bronx. I mean, I got these buttons. Well, I don't know if it's wearing these on there now, but it said Da Bronx, DA Bronx. And yeah, the Bronx got everything. It's got botanical gardens. It's got Bronx Zoo. I mean, if you've never been to the Bronx Zoo, gotta go. I mean, it really is. It's unbelievably terrific. And it's got Arthur Avenue. I mean, Arthur Avenue is cool. I mean, they got everything in there. You could, great stores. I mean, and it's all, store's been around for 100 years. I mean, what store lasts? A grocery store lasts 100 years. They are. They're there. And they're just as good as when they started. I mean, amazing. Meanwhile, here I'm mixing this up. So we're going to put a little bit of, we got some, I got some other stuff here. I got some parsley here. There we go. Got pieces of parsley, right? So I'll put some parsley here, and we'll just chop that up a bit, and we're going to stick it in. This is all stuff from my garden. I'm doing a couple of gardens. I got my own garden. I do my neighbor's garden. I do my daughter's garden. And the one I spend the least amount of time with, which is my daughter's, her stuff turns out to be the best. I mean, it's unbelievable. Sometimes you can overkill. You can work a garden a little bit too much. And I think that's it. But this parsley, that smells good. And, so we got it in, we mix it in too, right? The great thing about doing these videos is you can take a break and clean up a bit. I kind of trying to get a little bit cleaned up, and I made a bunch of meatballs. Meatballs are easy. You just pick them up and just roll them in your hand like so. So what we want to do is turn the gas on the stove for the meatballs, and in the other one I have my sauce going. All right, so we got the meat that was in there. All right. So this is going to heat up a bit. To help out that meat, we put in some a little bit of tomato paste. I'll squirt some tomato paste in here. All right. This is the double concentrate San Maranzano. I mean, they claim to be the best. Well, looks pretty good. All right. So I got some in that. We want to help it out a little bit, so we want to put in a little bit of oil. Just some regular olive oil. All right, sprinkle some olive oil in there. Whereas this can brown out. So I got this stuff to help it out a bit. Lard, and I go through this all the time. Nice piece of lard, right? Just throw it in there. Okay. Now you can hear it frying up, right? All right. That's going. This is all right. I took those onions that I did, and I just threw them in. I'm going to fry them in here too. So we got this meatball, right? And we just run it through the oil. That's the vegetable oil I'm using. You don't really want to fry this all the way through. You just want to put sort of like a light crust on it, and then you can throw it into your sauce. So we do it and just move it. I don't like the flame to be too high on that, so I want that to cook slowly. Whereas this can brown out like Clemenza told Michael in Godfather 1. This is what you got to do. This is how you make the sauce. You put he's doing a whole routine, which is pretty much true. He had it down pat. I have here in my hand a mixture of the basil and oregano. I got this basil, kind of interesting. A purple basil. I don't know. I don't know how great this is, but we'll cut it up a bit. Just put it in here. The trick, keep your fingers apart like so. Line up. I'm going to throw some wine in there. I got this wine because it comes from Abruzzi, and that's where my in-laws come from, so maybe. I might need a little bit more oil to help it out a bit. There you go. And the meatballs go, right? All right, we got some meatballs. This is faster, you know. I mean, you know, just so they kind of get browning around. You know, you put it up high first and to brown it, and then lower the flame and just let it cook a little bit. Meanwhile, we can dump some wine in. I already did some wine. I put a little bit more wine in here. All right, and that's going. All right, so we got the sausages and the. A lot of times you take them out and put it aside, but we don't have to do that. We just got it. Now, let's put some tomatoes. I get the San Marzano. I get the crushed rather than the ones that you do. You know, you squeeze by hand. You know, I get people tell me they don't like the seeds. I don't know. It's tomatoes, right? The seeds in the tomatoes. Okay. So there's one can in there, and that's cooking it out. And let's do the second one. And you notice how red this is. I mean, I don't know, you see it's real. I mean, it's really good stuff. I'm kind of a movie buff. Like I said, as a kid, I always went to movies with my mom. You see the movie Goodfellas. Besides him trying to slice the garlic like Dan when he did that, I'm putting too many onions in the sauce. But you notice he told us near the end of it, he kept telling his brother, keep turning it, keep turning the sauce, keep turning it. So you don't really want it to stick at the bottom, okay? So she's working out and turning it, or I guess stirring it. I turned the flame off this, off the meatballs, and we're gonna throw these meatballs in here and let them cook away in here. Now, so, you know, you could do it like there are a lot of people who put it in the oven and they'll cook them, and that's fine. You know, our master chef, Lydia, she rolls it in flour. Sounds like a good idea. You know, I always, you make spaghetti and meatballs, you know, especially Italian guys, they'll say, wow, you should have tasted what my mom made. Oh, she makes a great one. Oh, good. Can I taste it? Nah, she's dead. You know, but she made a great one. Yeah. Well, let's see. All right. All right. So let me throw some of this basil and the parsley in there. All right. And I'll put the rest of these meatballs in here. And then when you finish, you know, with the oil that's from that, try to save those coffee cans, and you can put your oil into the coffee cans instead of, you don't want to dump it down the sink, or do you? Well, no, you know. I mean, you should just put it in here like so, all right? And let it go. There you go. And let's sit here for a while. Cook it for about, I don't know, an hour, whatever. All right. Lower the flame. Okay. Looks like it's done. Actually, what I just did the meatballs, I didn't make any spaghetti right now. I'll make that later, or the rigatoni. What you want to do is get a piece of bread and you want to dip it. Yeah, I like this ciabatta bread. It's roasted garlic. So let's just put a little in there. If you saw Godfather 1, you remember when Sonny comes running over and he dips the bread in there. Yeah. You gotta be kidding me, man. It's great. So, gravy's all right. Just put a meatball in here. There you go. One little meatball in there, yeah? Let's see what I got. Well, you know what? Who says I can't do 2 meatballs? Right? I made it. Why can't I do 2? Okay, so I got 2 in here, all right? There you are. There. All right? Yeah, like Mama used to make. Close to it, but probably hers was just a little bit better, you know. But this will do. I hope you enjoyed it. Stories about food and cooking with Rick.